Hi and good evening. Thank you for watching. I'm Shakil 5858. I am Amibuddham. Now the latest headlines from world channels and news agencies.
Purported leak.
Tonight, new details about those critical black boxes. The NTSB confident they will gather data from them as questions mount over air traffic control staffing. What we're learning about the moments before the deadly accident, the supervisor allowing an air traffic controller to leave early with just one left on duty. Chopper flights near the airport now restricted, and the close call involving similar aircraft just a day before. Plus, the FAA struggling with air traffic controller recruitment. The head of the union, stark warning.
It's a 30-year low in air traffic control staffing.
The lives lost, the young skaters and their parents, and what we're learning about the pilots involved. Breaking news in northeast Philadelphia tonight. A fiery scene engulfing the streets following a jet crash there. Is it the start of a new trade war? President Trump set to impose 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada. 10% on China, what it could mean for the price you pay. And Andrea Mitchell in Panama's Marco Rubio makes his first trip as Secretary of State there after President Trump threatened to take control of the canal.
This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
From CBS News headquarters in New York, this is the CBS Evening News.
Change is in the air over Washington. Good evening, I'm John Dickerson. Helicopters are now banned indefinitely in the area around Reagan National Airport.
I'm Maurice Dubois. That is where that U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter collided Wednesday evening with an American Airlines regional jet inbound from Wichita as it was attempting to land. It appears at this point the helicopter flew into the plane's flight path.
The 64 people aboard the plane and the 3 soldiers on the Black Hawk were killed. More than 20 have yet to be recovered. The Washington, D.C. fire chief says that will have to wait until the plane's fuselage is pulled out of the Potomac.
Recovery teams worked under rainy skies today along the banks of the frigid river. All the flight recorders from both aircraft have now been recovered intact. Senior transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve is at Reagan Airport with the latest on the investigation tonight. Chris?
Maurice, the move to restrict helicopters drew praise from American Airlines CEO and several key senators. Those recorders that have been recovered, those are crucial.
Tonight, breaking news as we come on the air in the West. There is word coming in of a horrific small plane crash in Philadelphia. The images coming in right now from northeast Philadelphia. The plane coming down into a busy neighborhood, buildings and cars on fire, debris in the street. Reports of multiple casualties at this hour and what we're learning right now. And it all comes amid breaking news of that horrific and deadly plane crash in Washington. Tonight, we have new images of the final seconds leading to the collision between American Airlines Flight 5342 and the Army Black Hawk. CNN obtaining video showing the helicopter flying straight into the plane. At this hour, salvage crews set to lift the Black Hawk out of the Potomac. The NTSB releasing new images of the black boxes from the passenger jet now recovered. They believe they now have to remove the wreckage to reach many of the remaining victims as we learn more tonight about the lives lost, including the young skaters and their families, 2 young sisters who died, 1 victim dying on her 33rd birthday, and the 3 soldiers on the Black Hawk. Tonight, the FAA also issuing a major change in flight rules for those helicopters around Reagan Airport. Also breaking, President Trump signaling he will impose those 25% tariffs starting tomorrow on 2 of America's biggest trading partners, Canada and Mexico, a 10% tariff on China. What will this mean for grocery store prices, electronics, gas, and oil? President Trump saying late today there could be disruption. The powerful storm sweeping across the Northeast at this hour. Heavy rain, ice, snow from Washington to Philadelphia, New York, right up into Boston. Lee Goldberg has the forecast. Tonight, here's a deeply personal reveal. Retired NBA star Dwayne Wade, just 43, revealing his battle with cancer and his message tonight. The new warning about a chocolate recall, and we remember that 2-time Olympic gold medalist. He brought joy to so many.
From ABC ABC News World Headquarters in New York.
Port and aviation expert Jay Ratliff joins us now. Sir, could you give us your top-line assessment so far?
Well, I mean, obviously, Dana, a lot of questions to be answered here, and we will get the answers from the National Transportation Safety Board. They're the all-star team. They're the reason that we've had the safest air ever of commercial jet travel, going back to the last accident we had here in the United States 16 years ago in Buffalo with the Colgan air crash. There's a lot of questions that we have, and Bill, you'd asked about the TCAS system, the traffic collision avoidance system, that does disengage at 1,000 feet. So since this impact took place under 1,000 feet, the flight crew would not have had the benefit of the traffic collision avoidance system alerting them of the fact that there was an aircraft that was in the same airspace. Of course, one of the things I'm looking at is the communication that took place between air traffic control and the military aircraft, as well as the American Airlines flight. The timing is something that I'm very curious at as what the investigation moves forward, as far as the first time that the military aircraft was contacted by air traffic control. There seemed to be a very narrow window there between a question being asked, the answer coming back, and then evasive maneuver as far as advised command after that. It seemed to be a little bit more of an urgent situation there, but again, we're looking at a snapshot, not the entire thing. We're going to hopefully honor the lives of those that were lost by making sure that we learn everything, and the NTSB, through their thorough investigation, will, and we honor the lives of those that were lost so tragically by learning from this and then doing everything humanly possible to prevent anything like this from ever happening again, because to have two aircraft occupying the same airspace on a clear night never should happen.
Yeah, Jay, question on that. If the American Airlines flight was coming in for a landing and it was in an
On this Friday night, the U.S. president confirms he's hitting Canada with hefty tariffs in just hours.
They've treated us very unfairly.
Prime Minister Trudeau's response, Trump's decision on taxing Canadian oil and gas, and a reality check on his claims about Canada's role in America's fentanyl crisis. New tributes to the victims of the DC air disaster.
If you met her, you were very fortunate.
And the scrutiny on staffing shortages. What's involved in hiring and training air traffic controllers. Plus, a popular place to chill out.
It is a living, breathing work of art.
The red-hot attraction that is Quebec City's Ice Hotel.
Global National. Reporting tonight, Carolyn.
Tonight, Hamas hands over more Israeli hostages in exchange for Palestinian detainees as the fragile ceasefire holds. A crucial night ahead for North Queensland. Authorities warn of potentially life-threatening floods. A second fatal plane crash tragedy in the United States. A medical jet explodes on the streets of Philadelphia. And property prices ease across the country, boosting hopes of a February rate cut. Hello and welcome to ABC News. I'm Mariam Saab.
Hello, a very good morning. It's 9 o'clock. Coming up on the show today, relief for 3 Israeli hostages as they're passed over to the Red Cross by Hamas militants.
And in the Six Nations, a heavy defeat for Wales in their opening match as they failed to score against France in Paris.
It's Saturday, the 1st of February. 3 Israeli hostages are handed to the Red Cross by Hamas as 182 Palestinian prisoners are due to be released later today. A plane crash in Philadelphia sets houses and vehicles ablaze. The city's mayor says the number of casualties is not yet known. In Washington, D.C., 41 bodies of those killed in Wednesday's mid-air collision have been recovered, but just 28 have been identified. More British people than ever are being trapped in modern slavery as Sky News joins a raid on an abattoir suspected of exploiting labour.
And in the Premier League, after 7 weeks without playing, could Marcus Rashford finally be on his way out of Manchester United, with Aston Villa looking to sign him on loan?
Hello, very good morning. Thanks for joining us. We begin with the ceasefire.
France 24, your first choice for news.
Hello, thank you for watching Paris Direct. I'm William Hildebrandt. Our team here at France 24 working hard to bring you the latest world news. These are the headlines. 484 days in Gaza, and now freedom. Hamas hands over 3 hostages as part of a ceasefire deal. Israeli American Keith Siegel just released moments ago in Gaza City. Earlier, 2 other hostages were freed, Officer Calderon and Yarden Bibis. In exchange, Israel is expected to release 183 Palestinian prisoners. We're expecting updates from Hostage Square in Tel Aviv and Betunia in the occupied West Bank.
This is Asia Now.
It's 5 p.m. in Singapore and Hong Kong, 2:30 in New Delhi, and 4 o'clock in Jakarta. I'm Keith Liu. At this hour, the 4th hostage release by Hamas is underway in line with the ceasefire deal struck with Israel. Hamas has already released 3 people today. Israel will free 183 Palestinian prisoners from Israeli jails in exchange. The Trump administration confirms tariffs against Canada, Mexico, and China will come into effect today, sparking alarm for global trade. The European Union set to be the president's next target.
The tariffs are going to make us very rich and very strong, and we're going to treat other countries very fairly.
And Myanmar extends its state of emergency amid a civil war as the nation marks 4 years since the military coup.
The South African leaders have agreed to maintain peacekeeping forces in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo after Rwanda-backed rebels M23 seized the regional hub Goma. The decision was made at an extraordinary meeting of the Southern African Development Community, also known as SADC, in Harare on Friday.
Bold and decisive measures must continue.
The mission suffered heavy losses last week, with around a dozen soldiers from South Africa, Malawi, and Tanzania killed as the M23 rebels seized control of Goma.
Severe shortages of food and water are threatening the lives of thousands of people fleeing eastern Congo amid escalating violence, according to the World Food Programme. The UN humanitarian coordinator in Congo said basic services are largely paralyzed in Congo, a humanitarian hub critical for more than 6 million people displaced by the conflict.
Prosecutors have been in investigation against Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni and 2 government ministers for repatriating a Libyan warlord by the International Court in The Hague. Meloni revealed the investigation by Rome prosecutors for allegedly aiding Osama and GM, also known as Osama al-Masri, in Syria. He said her Justice and Interior Minister and Undersecretary are also
Thank you for sparing your precious time. This is Amir Shakil. Have a good life. Bye-bye.